In my previous lecture, I discussed the general properties, modes of transmission, pathogenesis, and clinical manifestations of Histoplasma capsulatum. Today, I'm going to move on to its lab diagnosis, which I've been telling you is the most important part of this topic. As you all know by now, Histoplasma exists in two forms. It is in the form of moulds in the soil and in form of spores at 37 degrees centigrade or in the patients. Now, if you look at this diagram, you can see the typical morphology of Histoplasma. It has two asexual forms. One are the macroconidia and the other are the microconidia. Now, the macroconidia are tuberculate in nature and they have finger-like projections on them, whereas the microconidia are smaller, smooth-walled, and it is these microconidia which are inhaled and they are then converted into the yeast form. And as I said that the most important point regarding histoplasma is that it is an intracellular fungus. This is the only intracellular fungus which exists in human beings. Coming to the lab diagnosis, the lab diagnosis is very important from your examination point of view. The specimen is what you receive in the lab. It could be sputum if the patient has pneumonia. It could be bone marrow aspirate because the macrophages are there in the bone marrow, or it could be there in the blood, or you can take the biopsy. Microscopic examination of all these specimens is going to show you one thing, and that is intracellular yeast cells within the macrophages. If you look at this is a blood smear which is stained by Giemsa, and you can see a macrophage filled up with these intracellular yeast. You can easily make out or visualize the yeast cells in this diagram. This is another slide of Histoplasma capsulatum, and this is basically a bone marrow aspirate, and within the bone marrow again you can see this large macrophage, and with macrophage which is filled up with these intracellular yeast cells. And this is a KOH PET preparation taken from the sputum, and again you can see the spores over here. Once you have done this microscopic examination, next you're going to put up the culture on relevant media. In this case, we are going to use Sebroid dextrose agar, and you're going to, once you have inoculated the plate, you're going to put it at room temperature for 7 to 8 days. Within this period, you're going to see appearance of colonies. The colonies of Histoplasma capsulatum are very typical, and they are going to show you this white suede-like appearance, or we call them cottony colonies. And the reverse of this plate is going to show you yellow brown colonies. And on the other side, the opposite side, the colonies are brownish in color, whereas on the top they are white suede like, or they are cottony. Another slide of Sebroid agars showing you histoplasma, and you can see the cottony mycelium white colonies. Now if you take a portion of this colony, a bit of the colony, and make a smear on a slide, then you stain it with a relevant stain and examine it under the microscope. What are you going to see? You're going to see a large number of these hyphae and the macroconidia. They are filled with macroconidia. At room temperature, you mainly see these macroconidia and the hyphae. This is typical of Histoplasma capsulatum. Then we can also perform serological tests, and when we talk about serological tests, we are basically trying to look for the antigens, or we are going to find the antibodies in the patient's serum. Now the antigens can be detected. It's a polysaccharide antigen which can be detected by ELISA, which is enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay. However, in immunocompromised patients, the antigens are detected in the urine. This is very important, and this is the test which is mainly performed in immunocompromised individuals. The histoplasma antigen is detected in the urine because in immunocompromised individuals the antibodies cannot be seen. Second are the antibody detection tests. The antibodies can be detected by complement fixation test or immunodiffusion techniques. Now again, I'm telling you here that we have done all these tests in the chapter on serological techniques, so I'm not going to go into any details. If the antibody titer is 1:32 in complement fixation test, then it is diagnostic for histoplasma capsulatum. In immunocompromised patients, like patients with AIDS, DNA probes can also be used, and both RNA and DNA probes are used for detection of histoplasma. We can also perform PCR tests for specific DNA sequences, but this is a very tedious test, so it is normally not done in the laboratories. To sum up the lab diagnosis, the most important are the specimens, whether it is a tissue biopsy or it is bone marrow. What you're going to see are oval yeast cells within the macrophages, and as I've been telling you again and again, this constitutes one of your very important MCQ, examination MCQ. When you put culture on Seborrhoeic agar, which is kept at room temperature, you're going to see hyphae with tuberculate macroconidia. And then we can also perform antigen tests, or we can antigen test, or we can perform antibody tests. But in immunocompromised patients who have disseminated histoplasmic disease, we are going to look for the antigen in the urine, and this is, as I said, because the antibody test could be negative. Another test which is performed in patients who have this infection, histoplasmosis, is by doing a skin test. In the skin test, you take histoplasmin, which is this histoplasma or fungal extract, and you are going to inject it intradermally in the forearm, and when you inject this, you're going to see this bleb. And then within 48 hours, the positive test is indicated if you get an area of more than 5 meters in duration. Red area of induration within 48 hours of injection indicates past or present infection by this pathogen. And this is because of delayed hypersensitivity reaction. Again, delayed hypersensitive, all the hypersensitivity reactions have been done in detail with you people, so I'm not going to discuss this again. Now, the important thing is that it takes about 2 to 3 weeks after the infection for this test to become positive. But once it is positive, it is going to remain positive for several years. So this skin test is not normally performed. However, it is done for epidemiological studies. Otherwise, normally, routinely, this is not done. To summarize what we have done so far, I've told you that this Histoplasma capsulatum is a dimorphic fungus, and it is the only intracellular fungus which exists in human. The molds are present in the soil, spores are present in the tissue, and there are two types of asexual spores. One are the macroconidia, which are tuberculate and have finger-like projections on them, and they are thick-walled, whereas the microconidia are thin-walled and they are responsible for disease production. Regarding its modes of transmission, they are transmitted by birds or bats, as droppings, and by inhalation of the spores. The spores go into the lungs, where they are taken up by the macrophages and they are converted into yeast form. The yeast are then taken by macrophages by the blood to different parts of the body. Regarding its clinical manifestation, severe disseminated histoplasmosis is seen in patients with AIDS who are immunocompromised and in infants. And the most important character, or the most characteristic feature in these patients with AIDS, is the presence of ulceration of the tongue, mouth, pharynx or larynx, and they are going to present with pancytopenia. Lab diagnosis I have done in detail, and the basis of lab diagnosis is finding intracellular yeast in the macrophages in the biopsy or blood or bone marrow. And culture is performed on the Seborrhoeic dextrose agar, and typical colonies will be seen, and then you can also perform serological tests for its diagnosis. Now, coming to the assignment, I have given you 7 MCQs here, and these MCQs are from all what we have done with you so far. And please read each of the stem carefully and then look at the options. You have to exclude the options to come up with the correct answer. This is the first MCQ, where there is the signs and symptoms of chest infection is there, and scattered pulmonary infiltrates could be seen on X-ray chest. Patient presents with lymphadenopathy, and the fungus, which of the fungus is most likely to be found within these endothelial cells. Second is an HIV positive patient, again presenting with the signs and symptoms of lung infection, and within the lungs, the fluid which is drained from the lungs reveals spherules. Now, spherules is a characteristic feature for which of these the fungus we have already discussed. I've shown you the slide and I have discussed this in my first lecture on histoplasma. So you find the answer for yourself. Third is a patient who has osteomyelitis, and a bone marrow aspirate was taken, which was then stained with calcoflower white, and you see macrophages containing intracellular yeast cells. So find the answer from the options which are given below. The fourth is patient with heart transplant, and you see then the pulmonary infiltrate contains oval budding yeast cell with pseudohyphae. Dr. Nadia has done in detail the fungus, so you should come up with the correct answer. Then there's a gardener presenting with a nodule on his finger after thorn injury, and a cigar-shaped fungus is seen on microscopic examination of the pus. So, which is the correct answer from the options? Sample sent to microbiological lab for fungal culture yields growth on seborrheic media. Which stain are you going to use for further identification of this fungus? In infected tissue, yeast cells of histoplasma are found mainly within which of the following cells? Now, this is just an example of what you're going to find in your final exams and in the various tests on mycology. So, please try to understand the importance of MCQs. In the MCQs, find out what is the relevant feature you are looking for and what should be there in the options, which marker should be present in the stem. This is something very important, and write down the answers to all these 7 MCQs and then mark yourself present. Thank you.